Listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is going to make everything Cardi B survived with Offset look like a gentle warm-up. We are talking about a woman who endured one of the most publicly toxic marriages in hip-hop history, who then tangled with Stefon Diggs and all the chaos that came with that, and who is now apparently stepping into a brand new chapter that might be the most volatile one yet, and I am not being dramatic, I am being dead serious. Cardi B has been spotted not once, not twice, but multiple times now with Nigerian soccer star Maduka Okoye, and while the internet is busy celebrating and shipping this potential new couple, the mother of his child just detonated a thermonuclear bomb on Instagram that changes the entire conversation. We are not talking about your standard baby mama drama. We are talking about allegations of physical abuse. Allegations of serial infidelity with both men and women. Allegations of a child being abandoned while hospitalized in intensive care 4 separate times in a single month. And a woman who says she crashed her own car because she was so emotionally obliterated by this man that she simply couldn't function. And the timing of all of this? It is not a coincidence. So grab whatever you need to grab, settle in, because we are about to break down every single layer of this situation, and trust me when I tell you, each layer is more disturbing than the last. Let's start with what we actually know for a fact, because facts matter before we get into the allegations. Cardi B and this Nigerian goalkeeper first crossed paths earlier this month at Paris Fashion Week. Specifically, they were both at the Jean-Paul Gaultier Fall/Winter 2026 Haute Couture show, and the moment that set the internet on fire was when Maduka, who plays for Italian Serie A club Udinese and represents Nigeria's national team, was photographed taking Cardi B by the hand and personally guiding her to her seat. Now, on its own, that is just a gentleman being courteous. But then that same day, a video surfaced of the two of them on a Paris balcony, talking, laughing, and what a whole lot of people described as looking genuinely flirtatious. The internet went into overdrive, clips everywhere, social media constructing an entire romantic narrative from a few seconds of footage and a single hand gesture. But here is the thing, neither Cardi B nor Maduka confirmed anything. No statements, no soft launch posts, no subtle captions, nothing. And for a minute, it seemed like it might just be one of those moments where two famous people happen to be in the same place and the public runs with it. But people were watching. People were waiting to see what would happen next. And then came Venice. TMZ obtained exclusive footage of Cardi B and Maduka Okoye sitting side by side at a restaurant called Joe's, inside the St. Regis Hotel in Venice, Italy, overlooking the Venice Canal. And from every detail reported, this was not a casual coincidence. Cardi B was wearing a plunging turquoise dress that turned plenty of heads the moment she walked in. Maduka was seated right next to her, flashing what witnesses described as a big, genuine smile while Cardi chatted with the table and showed off her long nails. They were dining with a group, and a source watching a fireworks show from the hotel above told TMZ they spotted the pair right after their food arrived, appearing to genuinely enjoy themselves. TMZ was very specific, there was no PDA. No kissing, no hand-holding. But they noted the two seemed very much at ease together, and when you combine the Paris hand-guiding moment with a candlelit dinner overlooking a Venice canal, you can understand why fans are connecting dots. TMZ even noted that Maduka played the gentleman by helping Cardi B into her seat at the restaurant, prompting fans to wonder whether she had scored herself a new boyfriend. And let me tell you, the way that man was smiling. That was not the smile of someone at a business dinner. And here is what I need y'all to understand. Cardi B flew halfway across the world for this. We are not talking about two people bumping into each other at an event in the same city. She was in Venice. He was in Venice. And they chose to spend an evening together at one of the most luxurious hotels in Italy. That is deliberate. Whether this is romantic or not, the point is that Cardi B is actively choosing to spend time with this man, and that choice has consequences, because this man comes with serious baggage. This is where the story takes a turn nobody saw coming. Maduka Okoye has a former partner, a baby mama, an ex, named Jelicia Westhoff. She is a Dutch model from the Netherlands, and they share a young son together, approximately 4 years old. According to what has been made public, Jelicia and Maduka have been in an on-again, off-again relationship since 2020, and by all accounts, it has been deeply toxic. And when Jelicia found out that Maduka was being seen publicly with Cardi B, not just once but repeatedly, in Paris and then in Venice, she did not just get upset. She did not post a subliminal message or a cryptic quote. She completely and utterly detonated. Jelicia went to her verified Instagram and launched what can only be described as a nuclear-level rant, multiple posts, one after another, each more damning than the last, making some of the most serious allegations I have ever seen a partner make public about a professional athlete. Now, before I get into what she said, Jelicia is from the Netherlands, English is not her first language, so some phrasing may sound different. But the emotion behind every single word transcends language barriers. That is raw, unfiltered, white-hot pain pouring out of a woman who says she has been pushed to her absolute breaking point. Here is what Jelicia said in her first post. She wrote that she shut her mouth, that she lied about what Maduka did to her so that his career would not be affected, and that despite her protecting him, all he does is embarrass them. She said he makes her look like a bitter baby mama when she was the one who helped him when nobody else was there. She said, point blank, I made you. Nobody knew who you were. And instead of loving us, you beat me, you cheated on me with men and women. She called him a demon who tried to destroy her life. She said he does not take care of their son because she does not want to be with him, and she will never forgive him. I need y'all to let that sink in. This woman is claiming she actively covered up what was done to her, strongly implying physical abuse, so Maduka's soccer career would remain intact. And in return for her silence, for her sacrifice, she says he beat her, he cheated on her with both men and women, and he abandoned their child. She is saying this publicly, on verified Instagram, for the entire world to see, knowing full well this could have legal consequences, knowing his team, his club, his sponsors will all see it. That is how far past the breaking point this woman is. In her next post, Jelicia said that being nice and peaceful got her nowhere. She called him a rat. She said she tried, for their son's sake, to be a good co-parent, to erase his wrongdoings, because Maduka had made her believe she was the problem. And if you understand the psychology of what she is describing, that is a textbook description of someone who feels they have been systematically gaslit, told repeatedly they were the issue, the unreasonable one, the cause of all dysfunction, while simultaneously being the one holding everything together behind the scenes. Then Jelicia challenged him directly. She said, post 4 recent pictures with your child. She said Maduka does not call their son, does not see their son, because he is too busy punishing his mother and being a baddie on social media. She talked about how Maduka wanted this child so badly when he was still broke, and how she had to give him money during that period. She said she was terrified to take him to court, terrified to press charges, because she knew he would punish their child in retaliation. She said she had been calm, she had given him 1,000,000 chances, and he still does not take care of the boy. She said the only way he will see their son is if he comes to her house, otherwise, he cannot be a father. Now, there is a detail in Jelicia's rant that genuinely disturbed me, and I want to break it down carefully. She talked about crashing her car, a car she bought with her own money. She was describing how her ex was supposed to help with their child's birthday but refused because he was bitter. She said she did everything alone for the birthday. And then she said she received messages from other women, as happens every other week, she says, on the very morning of their son's birthday. And then she said she crashed her car because she was so tired. But she immediately followed up with, tired of you not doing anything for our child. Tired of you. So I need y'all to sit with this. Is she saying she literally fell asleep at the wheel from exhaustion as a single parent? Or is she saying she was so emotionally wrecked, so pushed to the psychological edge, that she had some kind of breakdown? Both scenarios paint a picture of a woman in genuine crisis. And she followed it up by saying, this is what happens when the devil enters your peaceful life. The language she is using, devil, demon, rat, this is not casual venting. This is a woman who feels she has been spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically violated by someone she trusted with everything. And it keeps going. Jelicia described a period when she had just given birth to their son, and she said Maduka was cheating on her with everything that moved during that postpartum period. But she said she still chose to take care of him because he had just had an operation and was not even playing, he was not even on the bench for his team. She said he would cry his eyes out, and she motivated him, cooked for him, did everything a woman could do for a man because she loved him. And then, she says, she found out he likes both sides, meaning he is attracted to both men and women, which she says he admitted directly. Now, Jelicia was very specific about this point. She said there is nothing wrong with being bisexual. She said, point blank, ain't nothing wrong with that. Her issue is not with his sexuality. Let me repeat that, her issue is not with who he is attracted to. Her issue is that, according to her, he is out living his life openly, dating and speaking to whoever he wants, posting on social media, while their son has not seen him in months. She said he promised their son he would pick him up and just does not show up, because he is still busy punishing mommy. She said Maduka saw their son 2 times this entire year and 3 times last year. 2 times. In an entire year. And then she said something that cuts to the core of her anger, he can be with whoever he wants, she does not care anymore, but what she will not allow is for their son to be hurt in the process. She said if he had just taken care of their son, she would have shut her mouth for the rest of their lives. This is where the story goes from relationship drama to something much heavier. Jelicia described what happened in December, and this is the part that made me stop and reread everything multiple times. She said their son was hospitalized 4 times in December. 4 separate hospitalizations. In intensive care. Transported by ambulance. And she said the father did not come. Not once. She asked the question every parent hearing this is asking, what kind of father does not go to his child when the child is fighting for his life? She said the child was in the ICU, connected to machines, and his father was nowhere to be found. She then described what sounds like a devastating cycle of abuse and enforced silence. She said she found the strength, after years, after it went too far, after false therapy promises, to finally say enough and speak openly about what happened to her. And she said his team forced her to fix it, meaning they pressured her to stay silent to protect his public image. She said in the process of trying to heal, everyone called her a liar, called her jealous, accused her of trying to destroy his career. She said the police came to their house so many times that everyone in their circle knew what was going on. She said she could have pressed charges but felt bad toward their son, because even though he treated her badly, she still considered them family. And then she said the most heartbreaking line in the entire rant, my dumb ass thought so. She called herself dumb for believing this was still family. That is a woman who has been through the entire cycle, hope, betrayal, reconciliation, betrayal again, and who finally blames herself for ever believing things would change. And then Jelicia made a broader point that resonates far beyond her personal situation, far beyond Maduka Okoye, far beyond Cardi B. She said this is the reason why a lot of women in these situations do not speak up, because the world does not believe them, blames them, calls them bitter and jealous and crazy. She said all that he has done was not enough, hurting their son is not enough, he has to top it. She challenged anyone listening to actually be in her situation and then open their mouth. She said people can think whatever they want, she does not care anymore. She also addressed the bitter baby mama accusation head-on. She said a bitter mother would not allow someone who did all these things to her to still pick up their son, but Maduka does not even pick him up. So who is the bitter one? She said she is done arguing, she has her own money, she does not need to kiss anyone's backside. She said this was the last time she is listening to any team telling her to clean up anyone's name. She said when things were bad, nobody was there, it was just her. And she said there are a lot of athletes' wives who deal with the same nonsense behind closed doors. Jelicia also posted an older picture of them together and addressed the gold digger accusations. She said, what is the date, 2021? What gold digger? There was not even gold to dig. She was with him before he had money, before fame, which directly undermines any narrative that she was with him for financial gain. You cannot be a gold digger when there is no gold. And then she made a critical point that reframes the entire conversation. She said, "For the love of God, if you really think this is about a woman, do not be stupid." She said her lawyers have been sending emails for weeks and months asking him to take care of their son. She said you do not go out and feed people instead of doing what you are legally and morally obligated to do for your child. She said their son has had hospital appointments from December until now and the father has not shown up to a single one. She said, "Ask him for 3 recent pictures of our son and I will be quiet." She said it is all about principles. She also mentioned that the Italian team has been blowing up her phone, which strongly suggests his club is aware and may be trying to manage the fallout. This is not just social media drama. This has legal implications, professional implications, and the potential to affect an international soccer career. Now, here is where I need to give you my honest, unfiltered analysis, because the internet is doing what it always does, picking sides immediately and refusing to hold nuance. A lot of people are calling Jelicia a bitter baby mama, saying she is only speaking out because her ex is now being linked to Cardi B, and that her jealousy is what is driving this entire rant. And I will be honest, the timing is impossible to ignore. Jelicia went off right around the time the Venice photos surfaced. She was apparently silent for months about the alleged abuse, the neglect, the infidelity, and then the moment her ex is photographed having dinner with one of the most famous women on the planet, she explodes. That timing is going to be the primary weapon used against her credibility. But here is the counterargument, and I think it is a strong one. Jelicia herself addressed this. She said her lawyers have been sending emails for weeks and months. She said she tried to be quiet because lawyers were involved and because the Italian team was contacting her. She is saying the legal route was being pursued privately and it was not working. And sometimes, when the private channels fail, when the lawyers' letters go unanswered, when the team is pressuring you to stay silent to protect the player's image, sometimes the only thing left is to go public. And yes, the Cardi B photos may have been the final straw. The moment where she looked at this man living his absolute best life, dining with a rap icon in Venice, smiling in photos, while their son was in the ICU 4 times in December and he did not show up, and she simply could not take it anymore. But I also have to be fair and note what TMZ reported. Jelicia did not provide any additional evidence on social media to back up her claims. No screenshots of text messages, no police reports, no medical records. She made extremely serious allegations, and as of right now, it is her word against his. TMZ reached out to Maduka for comment and had not heard back. So we are in that deeply uncomfortable space where the allegations are extremely serious, the emotional weight is undeniable, but the evidence is not yet public, and the accused has not responded. Now, let me bring this back to Cardi B, because this is where the conversation gets really complicated. If you look at Cardi B's relationship history with honest eyes, there is a pattern worth discussing. Cardi B was married to Offset from 2017 to 2024, and that relationship was defined by public infidelity, multiple cheating scandals in real time on social media, a very public back and forth, and ultimately a divorce in front of the entire world. Then Cardi B got with Stefon Diggs. They had a son in November 2025, made things Instagram official in June 2025, and split ahead of the Super Bowl in February 2026. That relationship also came with chaos. There was a moment in early June where Cardi was visibly upset with Diggs at a coffee shop in Maryland, and when paparazzi asked if they were still together, Diggs deferred to Cardi for the answer, which is never a good sign. So when I look at Cardi B now being linked to Maduka Okoye, and when I look at the allegations Jelicia Westhoff just made public, the abuse, the infidelity with men and women, the child abandonment, the manipulation, the teen cover-ups, the police visits, the ICU no-shows, I have to ask a question a lot of people are thinking but maybe do not want to say out loud. If these allegations are true, is Cardi B walking into the exact same type of situation she has been trying to escape? Is this another Offset situation? Another Stefon Diggs situation? Another relationship where the man comes with a mountain of unresolved baggage, a toxic co-parenting dynamic, and a pattern of behavior that ultimately leads to public heartbreak. Because here is the reality. If Cardi B were to actually get into a serious relationship with this athlete, she would not just be dealing with him. She would be dealing with Jelicia Westhoff. She would be stepping into a situation where there is a child involved, where there are serious allegations of abuse and neglect, where lawyers are involved on both sides, where a soccer club is trying to manage the situation, and where the mother of his child is clearly still deeply, profoundly emotionally entangled with this man. And I do not say that as an insult to Jelicia, I say it as an observation of human nature. You do not write the kind of posts she wrote about someone you are indifferent to. The rage, the pain, the sense of betrayal, that comes from someone who cared deeply and feels that care was weaponized against her. That is not the energy of a woman who has moved on. And this is what concerns me, because Cardi B has been through the ringer. She has publicly documented her struggles, her heartbreaks, her attempts to make things work with men who, by her own admission, did not treat her the way she deserved. And here she is, fresh off a split with Stefon Diggs, being linked to a man whose ex is making allegations that, if true, would make Offset's cheating scandals look almost manageable. I am not saying Maduka is guilty of everything Jelicia accused him of, I am saying the allegations exist, they are serious, and anyone considering a relationship with this man needs to be fully aware of them. But I also want to be fair to Cardi B, because right now, nobody has confirmed she and the goalkeeper are dating. TMZ was very careful to note there is no word these two are anything more than friends. They could be business acquaintances. They could be two people who hit it off platonically. The Venice dinner could have been a group thing. We do not know, and Cardi B has not said anything, and until one of them speaks, everything is speculation layered on speculation. But here is what I know for sure, the Jelicia Westhoff situation is not speculation. Those posts are real, on a verified Instagram account. Those allegations are out there in the public domain. And regardless of whether Cardi B is romantically involved with him, the fact that his name is now associated with Cardi B means these allegations will get exponentially more attention. Maybe that is what Jelicia wanted, the Cardi B connection as the only way to amplify her voice. Or maybe she just could not hold it in anymore, and the Venice photos were the match that lit a fuse that was already there. I also want to address the public reaction, because it has been divided in a way that reflects a larger societal issue. On one side, people are immediately dismissing Jelicia as a bitter, jealous ex. On the other, people are taking every allegation at face value and condemning Maduka without waiting for evidence. And I think the truth, as it almost always does, lies in the complicated middle. The timing is suspicious, but suspicious timing does not automatically mean false allegations. The lack of posted evidence is concerning, but absence of screenshots does not mean abuse did not happen. And the fact that Maduka has not responded could mean he is guilty and hoping this blows over, or it could mean he is consulting legal counsel and being advised not to engage publicly. What I will say is this, if even half of what Jelicia alleged is true, if their son was really in the ICU 4 times in December and the father did not show up, if he really only saw his son 2 times this year, if there really was physical abuse and police were called multiple times, if she really was pressured by his team to stay silent to protect his career, then this is not a baby mama drama story. This is a story about a woman who was failed by every system supposed to protect her, who was pressured to stay silent to protect a man's earning potential, and who finally reached a breaking point. And if that is the case, Cardi B needs to proceed with extreme caution, because the man described in those posts is not someone you build a healthy, stable relationship with. And if the allegations are not true, if Jelicia is weaponizing serious accusations to punish a man for moving on, then that is a different kind of tragedy, because false accusations make it harder for every woman with a real story to tell. They make the world more skeptical. Either way, this situation is a mess, and Cardi B is at the center of it whether she intended to be or not. So here is what I want to know from y'all, and I genuinely want to hear different perspectives because reasonable people can disagree here. What do you think about Cardi B being linked to Maduka Okoye? Do you think there is something romantic going on, or is the internet reading too much into two people having dinner? And more importantly, what do you make of Jelicia Westhoff's allegations? Do you believe her, or do you think the timing is too convenient? And if you were in Cardi B's position, knowing everything that is out there, would you pursue something with him, or would you run in the absolute opposite direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I genuinely want to hear what y'all have to say. And if there are any developments, if he responds, if Cardi B addresses the rumors, if Jelicia drops more evidence, you know I will be right back here with the full breakdown. That is all I have for you, and I will talk to y'all later.